Hey everybody, hey everybody, hey, hey, hey. Hey y'all, we are here and we are live. So make sure you say hello when you join us. Say hello, hello, hello when you join us. Santina, I'm gonna share this on your page too.
Okay.
Y'all say, hey, we got some people that's been waiting on us.
Hello, everybody.
All right, I'm excited to be here on tonight. Y'all say hello when y'all jump on. Let us know that you're there. Let us know that you can hear us, you can see us. So when you type it in the comments, I'll know that everything is going out and broadcasting right. I look forward to these Monday nights so that I can introduce to some and present to others, but introduce to some the people that I've had the pleasure of working with and knowing that are successful. All right, Angie, say hello. So that means they can see us, they can hear us. Thank you, Angie. Because I'm always looking to make sure that we're broadcasting and you can hear us good, and that everything is going smoothly. And so we're going to get started here in about 60 seconds. We're going to get started.
Oh, I can do a lot in 60 seconds.
Oh my God. Santina, you and I should be like sisters or something because we like maximize every minute.
Yeah, let me type this letter real quick.
Well, as y'all jump on, say hey. Let us know you're there. We appreciate all of you joining us. And if you don't mind, say hello and then share with your friends. This Santina's story, she doesn't even know all the angles that I'll take when as I interview her today. But Santina has an amazing story. And if you are, it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter your background, you can really make a difference in your city and in your region. And if more of us would do some of the type of things like what Santina is doing, man, we could change our communities and change our state and change our world, really. Because if each individual would just dive in and begin to do some amazing things, you can really see some change in our region.
All right.
Hey, Chrissy, Crystal, Angie, Deborah, Chantrice. Chrissy Brantley says, hey, Miss Tina.
You sound just like it when you said that.
We're so proud of you, Chrissy, and the new journey that you're taking. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
I would tell my girls, go off and learn all you can. Go off and learn all you can. And then if the Lord leads you, bring it back to our communities because we need you. Hey, Carla, thank you for jumping on. All right, Tina, you ready?
I am ready. Can you see me okay?
Let's see. I can see you, but it looks like you froze up.
Yep. Hold on, I stepped out just a minute.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. Go and be great, Miss Chrissy. We're praying for you.
Okay. Where did it go? Whoa. Okay.
Once I see you moving again, then we'll go.
All right, there we go. Yes, there we go.
All right, perfect. All right, y'all know how we do this. We're going to get started now. My name is Carmela Williams, and I am a leadership trainer and small business coach. I love working with individuals who are skilled in their craft. And a lot of times you find yourself in a business just because you were good at doing something. And then you need some help with the administrative task and getting things organized, maybe be overwhelmed. And so that's where I come and I see things in pieces. And I actually just truly enjoy helping business owners get things in order and streamline the business that they provide. So on Monday nights at 6:30, I have been bringing on different women that I have worked with over the last 5 years that are successful. And I think sometimes you're thinking, what is Carmela doing? I don't understand who she works with. So I thought, what better way to reintroduce our business than to highlight successful people that we work with. And tonight, this is a good one. This is a good one. Tonight, she's so modest, y'all. You would never know. So tonight we get to work with Miss Santina. We get to talk to Miss Santina Fryer. And Santina, before I get into your bio, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. And then if you leave something out, I'll fill in the blank.
Oh gosh. Oh.
So just introduce yourself. Tell us something about you.
Okay, let's see. So I'm Santina Fryer, and I live in the big city of Bexley, Georgia. Born and raised here. I moved back from Macon. I went to college in Macon at Mercer, graduated from Mercer in 1997, with a bachelor's degree in psychology and African American studies. And I have a master's degree from Mercer's Medical School in Public Health, and I also have a master's degree in counseling and psychology. So I'm sure at some point tonight we'll talk about my career path and how I ended up with both of those master's degrees. But I moved back home after living in Macon for so many years. I wanted to come back home and use my talents here. So here I am. So I moved back 2007. And right now, I guess I own and operate Santina Fryer and Company. It's a LLC, and I contract with a couple of state agencies to provide human services to vulnerable families and whatnot. So I also serve on, I'm an elected official, a politician.
Yes, you're making a difference.
On the city council of Bexley, and I'm in my second term. My first term was a special election where I completed the previous councilman's term after he passed away. So this is my first full 4 years that I just entered into this year. I'm a mother. I have a 12-year-old son who I am certain at some point he will burst in here with God knows what and interrupt this session. But his name is Jacob. He's 12. He's my baby, and that's my son. I love being a mom to Jacob. The other side of my life is my nonprofit that I'm very passionate about. It's called Jensen Glam Community, Family, and Youth Services. And in Jensen Glam, or the programs that we operate, is a mentoring program, an after-school program, and two housing programs, one of which is a homeless shelter, and then the other is a new program that we just recently created called Step Up. That, but I'm sure we'll talk about those as we go tonight when she starts interviewing me. So there.
Listen, this is amazing, and it's so funny because people always think, "Oh, Carmela, you busy?" No, you haven't met anybody busy until you met Santina. And Santina does all of these amazing things and still is very involved in her son's life, still is involved with the PTO, still involved in the community. And I think it's important. I think it's important for women to know that we can be moms and we can still make a difference, right? You don't have to wait until your kids turn 18 or turn 21 or get out the house, because sometimes they don't ever leave.
Hey, don't tell me that.
Make a difference right now. Like, get involved right now. Tina, I think you hit everything. You're doing some amazing things, and we connected in a kind of strange way, but it was God that put us together, though. It was really God. So let's talk about your career path and Santina Fryer LLC, Santina M Fryer LLC, how you kind of got into doing this type of work, human services. You're always helping families, and I love that you contract with Voc Rehab, Georgia Department of Human Resources, the Division of Family and Children Services. Like, what is your role within those agencies?
Okay, so I always tell this story, but when I was 10, What? Sorry, somebody called. What's gonna happen? I hate when that happens.
When I was 10 was the last thing we heard.
I knew that my calling in life was to help people. My dad was had some health problems and was physically ill, and so I just took to that, and I always wanted to be his helper for the day. I wanted to make sure that he had what he needed, so I just assumed that my calling was to be a doctor. But when I finally got to Mercer, I realized that it was deeper than that. It was really working with families and children. So I found my niche on the campus of Mercer. I did not know what I wanted to be, and I was actually on the verge of failing the class, and I knew that my mama had told me that I could not come back home under any circumstances. So, and I'll never forget, I sat on the steps in front of my dorm room, and I was like, I don't even know what to do. So I didn't even tell her that until I graduated from college. But I said, I can't go home. So I just got to suck it up and pull my grades up and do what I need to do. So I was majoring in psychology at the time. So I found out about this course and I fell in love with it. And my professor and I just clicked, and she had a women's support group. So at the age of 19, I believe I was, I enrolled in this course. It was a course on racism, I believe. But the work that she was doing in Macon centered around at-risk moms, single moms. And she organized these support groups. And so my job as a part of my grade was to recruit students to come and work with these children while the moms were in their support group getting the help. So I would say ever since
I love that.
So I'm 45. So since the age of 19, this is all I've ever done. So I have, and just from that time, it just kind of blossomed and took off. I mean, I've just been on the ground since then. I love helping people. I love community organizing. And when you say helping people, that's so broad, but it's what I do for a living, and it's what in the area that I give back as well. So I started working after I graduated from college, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do as far as grad school. I've always wanted to be a therapist. I love therapy. I love systems and understanding mental health issues, but I also love community organizing and planning and creating programs, social service programs. So I decided to do both. There was no reason why I couldn't do both. But initially it was my master's in public health. I got that first. And then in 2006, I became pregnant with my daughter. And when she was born prematurely and ultimately passed away, I decided to go back to school to get my master's in counseling, because that was the way that I dealt with her death and grieved and healed. So after that, I came back home and started my business in 2011. So it's had its ebbs and flows. Right now, I went from a team of one, me.
Right.
Work. I was doing I was the bookkeeper, the accountant, the therapist, the parenting teacher, the transporter. I did it all, to today, I have a team of about 30 people, give or take a few. And that's huge for me, because I do not like to let go of stuff. So, finally had to really realize that if I wanted my business to grow, that I had to create that team of people around me that could go out and do the work. So now finally, after all these years, after 9 years, I'm home every day running the business. So I don't have to go out into the field anymore. And I'm really enjoying that, because now I'm talking about going from 100 hours a week to truly 8 hours a day here or there, and it's still a lot of stuff that I have to do, that I have to manage, but it's a different level. I feel like I've transitioned in my profession now from actually doing the work to managing and growing the business. So
Let's talk about that, Tina, because a lot of entrepreneurs are overwhelmed from that very thing that you just said, because you got to go out and see the clients, you got to approve all the work, you got to do the things that only you can do, plus all the things that you could get a team to do. What was the turning point? Was there any specific moment that became that turning point for you?
Yeah, I actually realized one day through a conversation with someone that I knew that I had reached my plateau,
Yep.
that I could not do anything else or grow as a person or grow the nonprofit until I found a team of people to help me. And that was the turning point when I realized I was physically burnt out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at a standstill. I wasn't growing as a person, emotionally or or financially. I could only do so much as one person.
That's
And
exactly right.
yeah, yeah. So that was the turning point, and that was just maybe a year and a half ago when I reached that turning point. Yeah.
Shelby and I was talking about that on last week, that you got to know what your maximum is. And if your maximum is 10 people, once you hit that, you can't go any further. So if your max is 50, once you hit that, you can't go any further.
Right.
But if you would take 10 people and then pour into them and teach them what you know, now you've just multiplied your reach.
Exactly.
So that's real powerful. But you got to know when you get there, so
Right.
you can make the adjustment.
That's right.
Something else you said your mama said, under any circumstances, you're not coming home. And this may lead us into Gents and Glams a little bit, but can you talk about how sometimes as parents or as support systems, we make it easy for people to quit? So because when you said that, what I heard was you had a support system that didn't make it easy for you to quit, and because of that, you found your passion.
Exactly. And I think that's where a lot of young people lack today. I was in court one day, and this little girl was with her uncle, and this was just a couple of months ago, and they were there for a totally different reason. And for some strange reason, my chips got stuck in the vending machine. So her uncle came to help me. So he got my chips out, and as my way of thanking him, I bought her something out of the vending machine. So I was just talking to her, and I was like, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And she said, "A lawyer." And I said, "Well, you can be anything you want to be. That's wonderful."
Right.
You know what she said? "My mama told me I couldn't."
Wow.
That's how I felt. Exactly. It knocked the wind out of me when I was like, "I can't." I said, "Sweetie, yes, you can. If you want to be a lawyer, you can be a lawyer." I said, "I'm not just saying that, but I believe that you can be a lawyer." And I think we as parents, this generation of parents, that we put so many limits on our children.
Right.
And we do not take the brakes off to push them. Like Jacob knows right now. We had this conversation last night, and he said, "So do you want me to be an astronaut, a doctor, or a marine biologist, or a paleontologist?" He knows. And he actually said, "You don't have to tell me ever again that I need to go to college, because you told me that so much. I know I'm going to college, and I know I'll do good in college." And I don't understand why, parents, I just guess they don't push their kids. Some parents don't push their kids, and see the purpose that they have in their children, that their children have in them. And I just know that Jacob was just like any other child, was put on this earth for a reason. And it's my job as his first teacher. I think that's an issue there, is parents do not see themselves as their kid's first teacher. I tell him all the time, "I'm your first teacher. I may not have a degree in education, but it's my job to teach you, to motivate you, to push you, and not to accept less than from you when I know what you're capable of." So
that's good.
Yeah. So that's also one of the reasons why I started Jets and Glam, was to inspire young people to reach their destiny, to set goals, and our mission is real simple. It's dream, believe, and achieve. If you can dream it, and if you can start to believe it, you definitely can achieve it. And that's what I try to pass on to anyone that I come in contact with through this walk in life.
Y'all got to drop that in the comments, y'all. When she say something that really speaks to you, you got to put it in the comments. I am my child's first teacher. I think that more parents need to know that. Now,
Mhm.
you're talking about Gents and Glams, Gents and Glam. Tell us a little bit more about that program. And you may not know these numbers off the top of your head, but when did you start? About how many kids have gone through? Because I've watched from the beginning,
Right.
Gents and Glam, and I've seen how it grown. Tell us about the trips that the kids take, and what's the purpose of these trips, and even the international trips. So talk to us a little bit more about Gents and Glam.
Yeah, I love Jensen Glam. COVID has really put a damper on it, but we're coming back slowly. But we started in 2013. So this November will be our 7th year of Jensen Glam. So we've started with just doing life skill sessions on Sundays, where we got a group of girls together and we talked about issues that were impacting young girls in their life or whatever. We started out with 4 girls in my living room, and it just took off like wildfire. And GLAM stands for Girls Leading, Advocating, and Mentoring. So when we started, that was our role, was to inspire young girls to become leaders, to be mentors, to serve their community. A year later, in 2014, we added the male component, guys, GENTS, which stands for Guys Engaged Now to Succeed. So every Sunday we would get together with these young people and we would talk about life. We would have speakers come in. We began to take them on college tours. We would tour at least 6 colleges a year. So we've done that faithfully up until COVID hit the scene. We added another component where we would take the children on educational tours once a year. So we've toured Washington, D.C., we've toured Florida, we've toured, spent a week in New York, and we've taken kids to London and Paris. So that was our last. Yeah, that was. So we believe in just exposing kids in rural Georgia, because a lot of times, our kids have to up their ante if they're going to compete with kids that live in Brunswick, or go to Windsor Forest in Savannah, or some type of private boarding school in Atlanta. They're going to be competing with these kids at some point when those applications come across an admissions desk, and you want to stand out. So that's why we try to equip the kids in Jensen Glam with the opportunities and resources that they need to help make those connections and kind of help prepare them for their life after high school. So with Jensen Glam, we provide a scholarship, a $500 scholarship to a female and a male each year. Right now, this past graduating class, I believe we had 10 seniors to graduate.
Wow.
They're all enrolled in college right now. I would say we probably had four, I believe, I have to count, 4 students that have completed college. So we're beginning to see the fruits of our labor, and those kids they help in some capacity. So it's been really great to see them come back and want to volunteer and help carry on the program. Because even now I'm getting older. So the older I get, there becomes a generation between myself and the kids. So I need to have people that are closer to that generation that, have graduated from college in the last 4 years compared to me graduating from college 15 years ago. So, I recognize that and realize that we have to have a generation of people that can also, and it goes back to what you said earlier, pour into my current leaders that can hopefully help make that transition and begin to take over where I'm no longer to serve at.
Okay, that's good. With Jensen Glam, you hit it a little bit about how you expose them to other colleges and you're taking them to different places. Why is it important for these kids to see something different?
Yeah, it's very important. And I tell you, when and it goes a little bit further than just seeing something. It goes to knowing somebody care enough to do this for you. And two examples that I think influenced me greatly. My mom is a housekeeper, so she cleans houses. So she would clean houses for a lot of wealthy or reputable people in our community. And one time he's deceased now, but he used to be the mayor of Baxley. And so she was his housekeeper. And I was in high school, so when I got ready to graduate, you know how kids are. They give a graduation invitation to everybody. So
Right.
I gave his name, and his last name was Baxley. I gave Mr. Baxley an invitation, and so he had a conversation with me. He said, where are you going to college at? And I said, Mercer. So of course his graduation gift to me was a check, but you know what he told me? He said, if you stay in school and you do well, I will buy your books every semester. So I stayed in school and I did fairly well, but
Right.
every semester, or at that time we had one quarter system. Every quarter he would send me a check, or he would give a check to my mom for my books. For 4 years, 12 quarters, that's what he would do. I never forgot that. That
That's
had a huge,
amazing.
yeah, that had a huge impact on me. When I was in sixth grade, when I was in sixth grade, my dad died. And so my teacher at that time, Miss Barbara Carter, um, older white lady, and I used to think she was the meanest person in the world. But I was a straight A student. I made high honor roll. And so when my dad got sick, my mom stayed in the hospital with him. And so my grandfather moved in with us while my mom was gone. But Miss Carter noticed my grades dropping. So when it was time for me to transition to junior high school at that time, she recommended me to receive an invitation to Beta Club.
Okay.
But I didn't make honor roll the last 6 weeks, which is I had to have made that. But what happened was I did not receive an invitation, but what she did was something that I've never forgotten, and I still have it to this day. But on my report card, my last report card for sixth grade, she wrote a note. Please consider Tina they call me Tina back then. Consider Tina for Beta Club. She's had a rough time. She lost her father, but she's an excellent student and she really needs to be in Beta Club. I didn't get an invitation for Beta Club, but I think that was so much more impactful in my life, that note that she took the time to write and advocate for me. So I
That's
think
right.
that's one of the reasons why I advocate for kids. That's why I want them to see things, because if you can get outside of your environment and go elsewhere, even if you choose not to do anything else,
Right.
you have experienced that, and it does something to your
Right.
psyche. It changes your thought process. Seeing kids fly for the first time, or
Oh,
hanging out at Rockefeller Plaza, going on a Today Show, or walking past the White House. Those are things that you never forget. And I just want to be able to make sure that kids have that opportunity. I know I can't reach them all, but if I can just
right.
plant seeds of hope, that's all I need to do. Yeah.
And my daughter went on that trip, and my daughter never goes anywhere without me. And
Right.
and I really did not expect her to do well on that trip, but she did.
Yep, she
And
did.
she enjoyed it, and she still talks about it to this day. But
Yep.
that made a big impact not only on her, but that made a big impact on me, because
Right.
as mama, it showed me I needed to let her do more and experience
Right.
more. I was holding her so tight, trying to protect her.
Right.
And so it's important for parents that have situations like I had, that you partner with these type programs like Jensen Glam to help
Mm-hmm.
expose your kids to something more. Because I know as parents, sometimes we may not make it easy for our kids to quit, but we hold them so tight
We have it
because
sometimes.
we
Right.
want to protect them, that we don't allow them to
Yeah.
experience things that they
Yeah.
could have
And yeah,
experienced.
and preventing them from having that experience, in my opinion, is way worse than quitting.
Yes.
It robs them,
Yes.
of their potential and their destiny. So it's just so important that we provide them with these opportunities. I mean, even and I'm not the best parent in the world, but like for instance, for every birthday for Jacob, I know he wants to be a marine biologist. So
Right.
every year when he has a birthday, his birthday party is centered around marine biology. We're either having a birthday party at a museum or something, or he's going on a shark expedition. Um,
Right.
but that's just important to me. You have to be strategic as a parent. And as a mentor, I'll do it for any of my kids,
Right.
um, it's all about exposure, and people have been exposing their kids to things since we've been on this earth. And
Right.
you don't have to be wealthy, and you don't have
That.
to be a different race to have good experiences. I want to send him to boarding school because I
Right.
know that he'll do well, but you know.
He's not trying to hear that.
But
Anybody that knows Jakes, we know. So let's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that, you know, people are like, you would send your child away? I was like, yes, I'll be there every other weekend, but if I know that it's going to change his life, then most definitely.
So I want you to talk to us now. And y'all, this interview is a little bit longer because Santina, this is one woman doing some amazing things, y'all, from Baxley. I wish I could tell you all the awards she's gotten, all the programs she's been in Atlanta, and all these trainings and all these different things. I just sit back and be like, what? But let me tell you, anytime I need something, this is the first resource I call right here. So listen, talk to us about your transitional home and the Step Up program. And, you know, because your transitional home is different than a traditional homeless shelter. And, you know, kind of talk about that.
So I have all these bright ideas at night. So when I'm resting or sleeping, I have these dreams. But we actually, it stems from Jensen Glam. We were having a conversation one day, and someone brought up the issue of homelessness, and I just never thought about it. And as a matter of fact, we had kids in the program that were homeless.
Right.
And I said, you know, well, of course something needs to be done about that. I'm very proactive. I'm not reactive. If I see a need or an issue, I jump on it. So, and that's what I did with that. I actually did not want to open TLC. I bucked. I told God no. I just didn't want to do it. I was going through the motions. I put it on the back, and every day I was getting a call about somebody being homeless and needing somewhere to stay. So finally, one day I did the math, because I just felt that it was easier for me to raise money for someone to stay in a hotel or pay for a one-night stay. But then I started counting. I said, well, the citiest motel in town is $55 a night. Times 7, that's $360 a week. Times 4, we were helping, me, myself, and another organization was raising money to help families, and it was costing us thousands of dollars a month to do this.
Right.
So I said, well, that's not economical, and it's not a good return on people who are donating. It's not a good return on their investment. So I started, you know, trying to look at ways to do a homeless shelter. I actually had, seriously, I was just going through the motions. I did not have any desire, because I knew what was going to happen once I opened it, that it was going to change my life.
Right.
I never thought I was perfect in any way. I just do what I do without any type of fanfare or accolades. But eventually, I think in one day, I received about, no lie, 8 calls of different people that were homeless. So I finally just said, okay, blumping it. I put a post on Facebook one night, and I said, if I can raise $1,200 a night, and I had found a house. Someone had promised me a house that if I paid the rent, that I could use it. I said, if I can raise $1,200 a night, I can get the lights on, I can get the water on, and I can move in 3 families this weekend, and we'll be full. I didn't think it would happen. It happened. We raised the money. That was December 14th.
In one night.
Yeah. That was December 14th, 2018. And this December will be 2 years that we've been open. So to date, we've served, it's called TLC, Transitional Living Cottage. Right now we have 4 women and maybe 5 kids there. It's a 4-bedroom home. And we house women and children. To date, we've probably served through the doors, good or bad, a little over 100 people. We believe in meeting people where they are. When I tell you, this has probably been the hardest thing I ever done in my life. It really was a God thing, because I thought I had it all together, but when I started having to really intensively deal with people and their issues, I had to learn a lot about I learned a lot about myself and what I was willing to tolerate, and not only tolerate, but what I wanted to deal with and address. Like, it was really, we're talking about people's lives.
Right. That's
so,
right.
yeah, the way that I describe homelessness is just consider an onion. An onion does not smell until you cut into it.
That's right. Ooh, that's good, Tina.
And when you start pulling back those layers, when
Yeah.
you put that roof over their head, that's when you cut into that onion and you
Right.
start pulling back those layers, and it starts to stink. And that's how homelessness works, because putting shelter over somebody's head is one thing, but when
That
you
was the
start,
easy part.
yeah, that's the easy part. Once you start addressing those issues that have been embedded in that person's life for all of their life,
Right.
we have to peel back those layers, and we have to help them. And I have a mom there now who, when I met her, she did not want to follow the rules. She was closed. She was guarded emotionally. She would leave and think she was ready, and then she'll call back and something happened in her life. She need to come back. And I think about her all the time. Like, now she's a totally different person.
Right.
And she's been there for a while, but initially our goal was to only house people for 90 days. But that
Right.
was one of those God things where I realized I can't put time limits on somebody's recovery or their healing process. So we've done a lot. They go through a program. They have Bible study on Tuesday nights. They
Okay.
participate in a financial literacy class. They have counseling
Good.
every other Friday. They have parenting class. It's hard work. I
Yeah.
had just 2 weeks ago, I had two women that were in active addiction, and I had to discharge one because she constantly wanted to continue to use.
Right.
We have a substance abuse program, but we're not a treatment facility. So
Right.
sometimes we do get moms that are in addiction, I mean, in recovery, but without the proper supports in place, it's very easy to relapse.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we give people what they need, and TLC may not be for them. So,
Right.
a lot of hard decisions are always made. So we try to help them become stable, become self-sufficient, and help them identify their barriers in their life that has, caused them to be homeless, and without being judgmental.
That's right.
So from that, I had decided to look into, living in rural Georgia. Resources are limited, housing is limited.
Yep.
So I had an opportunity to purchase a home, and I didn't know what I was going to do with a home because I have a house, but I was what am I going to do in this house, Lord? So I was like, oh, I know what I can do. I can just start buying houses.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So the lady was like, well, she said, this may be crazy, but the Lord put it on my heart to call you about this house. And I was
Right.
like, well, I have a house. I don't know what to do with it. Then she said, well, what about something with TLC? And I was like, oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what we do now, and it's just one house right now. My goal is to buy 2 additional homes. But when people leave TLC, or people who have had a rough time renting, it's called Step Up, and they rent to have long-term housing. So our first house is
Hey.
occupied. Yeah, our first house is occupied. It's a success story. The lady lived at TLC for a year. And when I tell you she was so afraid to leave TLC, I was like, do not come back over here anymore. She would go during the day and stay at the house that she's renting from me through the program. But she'll go to TLC and hang out all day, and then she'll call and say, can I spend the night at TLC? And I was like, no, you need to
Right. Yeah.
learn how to live on your own. And her
Yeah.
children
Yeah.
were in foster care because she was homeless. And
Yeah.
so now she's been in the home for 3 months, and now she has unsupervised visits. Her children come every week.
Yay!
So they're excited, and they're almost home for good. So that's a very, 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 very powerful success story. So that's what we're doing over here in Little Baxley.
And I love TLC. So TLC is a place where they can come, they can get a roof over their head,
Yeah.
they can learn about their finances, they can get counseling for whatever those deep issues are, they can get the help and support that they need. And eventually and if they stay long, when it's time, they can eventually shift and then begin to rent from the program as well. And then that rent is used to help other families that are coming in the program. So I love that cycle.
Exactly.
And you never think they're going to be afraid of starting over, afraid of making mistakes. You know, that's why TLC was her support. You know, that was her
Yeah,
safe place.
it
You
was.
know,
Yep. Yep.
and so it's really awesome to see that the Lord can deal with you in your dreams
Yeah.
and get you outside of your comfort zone. And this is the other thing. He will, there was a pastor that said this years ago. He said, the Lord will use other people. They will use their gifts, talents, abilities, their finances, their resources to bless you. So not only could you not sleep, he woke somebody else up and said, you need to give Santina this house. And you like, I don't need no house.
Right.
He said, what about TLC? You're like, oh yeah, they do need housing, you know? So the Lord, you know, I love it when you are in obedience and you're walking in your purpose. This is what it looks like. Because I had wrote a question here for you to clarify for those who may not know what social services look like. Because you said you work in social services. And I think that the examples of TLC and the different things that you're doing get painted a picture of what social services is. It's just, how would you simplify social services?
I would simplify that as providing the resources families need to be successful.
That's it.
Yep. and however they define success is how they define success. Because my definition of success, you know, is not the same as, you know, yours or someone else's. So
that's right. Yeah. Oh, Tina, this has been so good. Now, listen, we got a lot of women watching, and I'm going to ask you a question that we didn't prepare for, but there may be a young woman watching who wants to make a difference in her community. She wants to do something with housing, or she wants to do something with mentoring. I talked to somebody the other day. She wants to do dancing. Somebody else wants to do play therapy, but they don't see it, you know, around here. You know, what advice would you give them?
Lead where you are. That's something that I live by, and I know that I people know me and I have a following, but you know, I don't get caught up in that. But you can you can make a difference without a platform. You can make a difference without a podium. You just need to be passionate about what it is that you're doing, and you know, you start where you are. I didn't talk about this, but the reason Jensen Glam started was because Jacob's siblings were living with me. Their mom was in prison. And I would say to myself, I don't know what it would be like if my mom was in prison. I would need support. So that's how Jensen Glam started. So chances are your purpose, the things you need to fulfill your purpose are already right there. Start where you are, lead where you are. If you want to start that dance studio, get some girls and teach them how to dance on your sidewalk.
There you go.
You know, people always ask me, how do I start a mentoring program? You know, if you got a child, that's your first client.
Yep. That's right. That's right. Get started doing something.
That's right. And if you want to open a counseling firm or some type of therapeutic agency, start ordering books off Amazon that talks about the different treatment modalities that you want to provide. Read. And that's how you become a subject matter expert, by doing.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Just two more questions. How have we worked together in business, Tina? Now, we met, if I'm not mistaken, we were both working for an organization. And that's where we met and connected. And even though the organization is not in existence, we stayed in touch. You know, so how have we worked together? You know, I'm using this platform to highlight other businesses, but also reintroduce what we do to the community.
We and I think a lot of my success has been because of our partnership. You pulled out and would ask those questions like, why aren't you doing this? Or what would it take for you to do this? And it would make me, you know, the light bulb would then come on. So that's how, you know, we connected in that realm where, you know, you pushed me to go out, to launch, kick me out the nest, you know, so to speak. And that's what we need, especially in these parts, you know, in rural Georgia. We need to have an outlet or a network of women where we can support each other and encourage each other. And there are so many people that have ideas that are just full of business inside of them, and they just need a platform, or they just need someone to push them out of that nest. Let me tell you something. If I can do it, I started my business with $100, and that was all the only $100 I had, and that was enough for me to file my paperwork with the Secretary of State.
Yep.
And my LLC is mine.
That's right. That's right. One step at a time.
Yeah, that's mine. And I've invested that $100 in 2011. And I had to be ready because the lady called. She said, "Do you want a defense contract?" And it's way different now. And I was like, "Yeah, what do I need to do?" And she said, "Well, you need to start a business." And I was like, "Okay." So I figured it out and did it. And then I started helping people start their businesses or fill out their paperwork for their LLC. So I do a lot of consulting on the side, but I learned from reading.
Yeah.
I learned from whatever question I had, I just researched it and figured it out. And if I didn't know, I found somebody that knew that could help me. So it's so important that you push yourself, that you do the work, you do the research. There's no reason why women aren't you can't start a business, because you can. You may not have the resources, you may not have the money, but you have to at least make that effort to do what it is that you're passionate about.
Yeah, you should rob the grave.
Rob the grave. That's
right. Rob the grave. There's no idea, nothing. I'm not taking anything to the grave with me. You hear me?
That's right.
Rob That's right. And sometimes we think we can only do one business. No, you build it, you get your team, just like you say, now you got your team. That frees you up to be able to do these different things, these community projects. You get started, you build it, and then you continue to grow until you have given everything that you have.
That's right. That's right.
And this is my last question for you, Tina. How can people donate to you? Maybe they want to donate to TLC, or they want to donate to Jensen Glam, to the scholarship. How can they get in touch with you?
I can be reached. I am on Facebook, Santina Fryer, or Santina Marcella Fryer. I have Cash App. It's my name, Santina Fryer. You can inbox me. I can be reached. And you may have other questions for me. My number is 912-339-0072. Let's see. We do take donation. I just want to also say this, that one of the things that I feel that has helped me, I don't even like to say that I'm successful. I consider myself a servant.
You are, though. You are successful. You're a servant leader, but you are successful.
Okay, I'll take that. So I just always told the Lord that if I do anything for him, that he has to make a way that I'm able to support my efforts. So I do financially contribute to the nonprofit a lot. I pretty much pay the rent at TLC every month. I pay the light bill every month, and it's and that's a huge budget. We do have donations, we do get in-kind donations, but I don't I totally believe, especially for those of you that are not necessarily, may not be in the for-profit, but you're looking at starting a nonprofit, whatever your mission is, please be able to support your mission in some way.
That's right.
Either by providing that service or giving $5 a month, but you've got to invest. I don't believe in asking people for a donation if I can't match it, or if I can't, help, because that's just, it's my mission. It's what I believe in. So I have to be in a position where I'm able to help support it. And, some months are harder than other months. I'm not gonna lie. But
Santina, how much is your monthly rent
at TLC?
Yeah,
it's $500, and the light bill is about $500.
Oh, Jesus!
Because it's a huge house. So the most we've ever had is 15 people at one time. So the cost can get up there, but yeah. So yeah.
Come on, y'all. I know we got at least 25 people watching that can donate $25 or $50. So yeah, so she's not gonna ask you, so I'm gonna ask you. Especially if you feel like you're called to make a difference in your regions, the nonprofits that Santina running, that's good ground. You sowing into good ground. So I believe in sowing seeds, especially if you are believing God for your own organization, to start your own facility and to do those things, you know. So why don't you just drop in the comments if you're going to donate, just raise your hand, say I'm in. But we need for you to donate to TLC. And Santina will do it all on her own, and she won't ask for no help. So I know we can get at least 25 people to let's make this thing a little bit easier, y'all. We're getting ready to go into the holidays, and you know those kids are there, and those families are there. And I know for me, one of the hardest times for me was when I was before I met my husband, I was by myself, had 4 kids, and I was getting sick. And I didn't even realize what was going on, but I was physically sick. And my boss called me at home. Okay, we got one person say, I'm in. So y'all go ahead and send that donation. If you can't send it today, just say that you're in. And then when you get the money, send her $25 or $50. I don't even know how much it is. I just know that we have at least 25 people. Tina, I'm going to send $250. So I'm going to donate as well. Yeah, because I'm believing, I'm relaunching my business, right? I believe in sowing seeds. And you know, we got some other things in the work behind the scenes that we ain't told anybody yet, and so I got to get some seeds in the ground, and I know when you sow, you reap. And so listen, I was so upset, and I was sick in my body, and my boss called me at home, and she said, Carmela, we realized that you're depressed. And I was like, I ain't depressed. She said, you're depressed because you can't do for your kids the way you want to for Christmas, and that's why you're sick. And she was like, we got your kids layaway out, you know, and I tell this story all the time, but let me tell you, when you're trying to do right, and you think about being a transitional living home with your kids, you're trying to get yourself together, and then the holidays come around. So if we can give, if 25 of us can give, think of the money that Santina would be using for rent and lights, she can now use to help those mamas make this a real memorable season. 2020 can be a real memorable holiday season.
And I tell you,
Grace says she in, Angela say it's already done. I'm in, that's 4.
Thank you, guys.
25. What you want to say, Tina?
I was going to say that something that we take for granted, a birthday party. I make sure that every kid that's at TLC get a birthday party. And this lady from Waycross, every time we have a party, she donates the decorations. And we go all out for that kid to experience. And we had a birthday party last week for one of the babies that turned 5. We have a birthday party this week for somebody that's turning 1. So, you know, we make sure that they celebrate their birthdays and that they get everything they want for, you know, for Christmas if they're there. So, and it's, you know,
you should say she in.
Thank y'all so much.
Listen, y'all, think about that. Think about not being able to give your baby a birthday party. You know, this is a big deal, and we need something like this in Toombs County. So I know some of y'all watching, you know, the Lord's already tugging at your heart because He already told you to do it, and you thought you had to have good credit and all this other stuff to get started. You just need to get started, right?
Right.
And some other counties. So I'm not gonna hold you up because we will turn this thing into one of the marathons. And we'll start raising money, honey. Deborah say it's done. So hey, they are.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So thank you so much for your time. Listen, y'all. Oh God, I hate to even close it the way I normally close it, but you know who I am. I'm Carmela. I'm your leadership trainer and business coach, and I love working with women who's ready to experience less stress in your business, ready to get your system streamlined. You're ready for clarity of your next steps. If you have a business opportunity, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, I can help you. I promise you I can. And if I can't, I got a resource that can.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Santina. And thank y'all so much. Y'all keep giving. The Cash App is in the top. It is her name.
Santina Fryer.
Yeah. Santina Fryer, $ Santina Fryer. I dropped it in the comments.
Thank y'all so much. God bless y'all. Thank you.
Hold on, Tina. Before we get off here, I'm going to drop it in the comments one more time. Santina Fryer. There we go. That's her Cash App, y'all. Unlimited Success Services say they in. They're gonna be giving to you
Thank
too.
y'all. Thank you so
Now
much.
we finna make those families at TLC have an amazing holiday season.
Yes,
I love y'all.
Thank y'all. Good night. Love you too. Bye.